Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the first installment of the District Advisory Committee for the school year 2021-22. Lots of numbers there. We're going to have two presenters this evening, Associate Superintendent Harrison and Assistant Superintendent Grijalva, who will be giving us the latest and greatest on the LCAP amendment, the update to the LCAP amendment, and the update expectations of budgets being applied to the update, which is updating the LCAP. So we are very excited about the opportunity to have this shared with our committee. With no further ado, I will introduce Associate Superintendent Harrison. However, Mr. President, I would like to acknowledge that we have all members of our staff here and there are no members of the public. And so I do not believe there will be a public comment for this agenda.
Board President Pomba, Trustee Boulay, Dr. Nicholas, thank you for having me this evening. Dr. Nicholas, with his introduction, made a little joke about the local control and accountability plan with the supplement to the supplement, but he is accurate, and the number of times that he said supplement is probably about there. If you all remember the presentation in October where we did a LCAP supplement update of the budget and the plan in October, there will be another presentation to the board in February as another update to the supplemental plan to the LCAP. And it sounds like I'm being facetious, but that's true what we have to do now for the LCAP. The LCAP has changed dramatically over the last 3 years. Due to COVID, there are new plans that are embedded in the LCAP plan that are related to health and safety, that are related to the expenditure of funds, and related to the actions that our school district took in relation to expenditure of funds for health and safety and for the LCAP proper. So what Assistant Superintendent Grijalva and I are going to present tonight is a mandated supplement presentation to the annual update of the Local Control Accountability Plan. So before we get started, I want to remind everybody of what our 3 LCAP goals are. Goal 1 is systematic closure of the opportunity gaps. And what is that? That is all students will graduate the LUSD school system, college and career ready, through a coordinated, articulated instructional program that teaches each student the skills of communication, citizenship, critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity. With a technology-focused facilities and programs will be a priority with the intent of creating a district-wide one-to-one learning environment. Goal 2 is instruction and curriculum efficacy. Lambertsville Unified School District is committed to the systematic development of instructional leadership and teaching excellence in all classrooms by identifying, implementing, and institutionalizing research-validated practices district-wide. That is goal 2 of our LCAP plan. Goal 3 of our LCAP plan is 21st century outcomes and stakeholder communications. Lambertsville Unified School District will provide its community with a high-quality education, fostering positive parent relationships in a system that is focused on a 21st century educational program that supports and includes a rapidly expanding student population. So the 3 LCAP goals revolve around the 8 state priorities. Our 3 LCAP goals have to address these 8 state priorities when it comes to the Local Control Accountability Plan. In our plan, we address the basic conditions of learning. We address the state standards. We address parental involvement, pupil achievement, pupil engagement, school climate, course access, and other pupil outcomes. Other pupil outcomes may be more of the affective domain, surveys, mental health services, counseling services that we provide, things of that nature. So when you talk about the priorities, they're numbered 1 through 8. So if you think of these 8 priorities numerically 1 through 8, that is represented on the next slide. So a year ago, the LCAP template changed. And just to give everybody a heads up, it's probably going to change again moving forward in the next 3 or 4 months. However, the newest change to the LCAP for our 21-22 LCAP plan, the priorities have changed. We have the 8 priorities, but now there are 8 priorities and sub-priorities to the 8 priorities. So I wanted to make sure we delineated here the goals as they relate to the LCAP. So for goal 1, priorities 1, A, B, and C, priority 2, priority 4, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H are all addressed by goal 1. Now you may ask, why are you doing this? I'm doing this because with the change to the LCAP template, the priorities that are being addressed by each LCAP goal have changed. They've shifted. And where it used to be a local control plan, there's now mandates for certain facets of the 8 state priorities that you must address in your goals. So those are delineated here, with the goal 1 being priorities 1A, B, C, 2, 4A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. In goal 2, we're addressing priorities 2A, 6A, B, and C, and 7A. And in goal 3, priorities 3, 5A, B, C, D, and E, and priority 8. It used to be just priorities 1 through 8. Now all these priorities have subsets that must be addressed. So that's why it gets a little confusing here with the numeric value and the A, B, C, D, and E. That is how they are delineated in the plan directed by the CDE. So I wanted to be very clear on that part. So now I'm going to relinquish the clicker to Assistant Superintendent Grijalva. You know which clicker you hold it this way. There you go. This one. That one, yeah.
All right, thank you. So the mid-year update to the LCAP requires that we provide a summary of expenditures to date. And in goal 1, we've expensed and encumbered $32 million. In goal 2, 1.4, and goal 3, 120,000. In addition to a mid-year update to the LCAP, the requirement of the supplement to the annual update to the LCAP requires prompts that we have to identify. The first one is a description in the use of funds provided in the Budget Act that were not included in the LCAP. The first one is SB 117. This was funds for costs associated with services and supplies necessary to provide student opportunities for distance learning. Through parent surveys and public health guidance, we were able to provide school nutrition support, custodial cleaning materials and supplies, PPE, and a portion of our bipolar ionization. The next prompt is how and when one-time federal funds received are intended to support recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic and the impacts of distance learning. Using the CARES COVID Relief Act funds ESSER 1, those were given to us for addressing the impact of COVID-19. We used it for safe return to school environments, which is PPE and custodial and cleaning supplies, desk barriers, bipolar ionization, and Zoom. Any of the other CARES or COVID relief funds that have been received were detailed through separate plans as required. An example of those are the Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant, the Learning Loss and Continuity Grant, and the Safe Return to In-Person Instruction and continuity plans. Description of how the LEA is implementing the Federal American Rescue Plan Act and Federal Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Expenditure Plan and the successes and challenges experienced during implementation. The American Rescue Plan ESSER 3, we provided the Lammersville Online Education, or the LEO program, and we also used it for Edgenuity. The learning loss mitigation, we have some funds in that one, and we used it once for the school climate conference in which we sent principals. Successes are the school site setting options. We were able to provide multiple programs in the school setting and expansion of mental health and PBIS. In the challenges with school setting options, that was the hiring and staffing of those multiple programs that we were able to offer. and less funding than most districts. Many of the CARES COVID relief funds were based on the unduplicated count. And as you may be aware, our unduplicated count is very low. And as an example, they used supplemental concentration funding. Well, Lammersville does not receive concentration funding, so for that particular prompt, it was 0. Description of how the LEA is using fiscal resources received for the 2021 year in a manner that is consistent with the applicable plans and is aligned with the LCAP and annual update. We had the Expanded Learning Opportunities Grant, the Learning Loss and Continuity Grant, and Safe Return to In-Person Instruction. Within those grants and crossing with the LCAP, we provided summer school, curriculum, paraprofessionals, learning loss, technology, safe environment and PPE, and after-school enrichment and tutoring. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Assistant Superintendent Grijalva, did I hear you correctly in saying that our district, based on our student population and other statistical categories, receives significantly less funding from the relief funding sources, the feds, than other districts who might have high poverty populations? Is that correct?
That is correct, and a lot of them, other than supplemental concentration or the unduplicated count, sometimes they use funding based on Title I, which for us is also very low.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay.
Madam Trustee, Mr. President, it is my pleasure to bring to a conclusion the first installment of the District Advisory Committee for 2021-22 school year. Thank you all for attending, and may you have a lovely holiday season.
Thank you.
Thank you.